Welcome to Steel Curtain Productions. Please hit the likes and subscribe down below in your right hand corner. Muchly appreciate that. Tell your friends and family about it and share it as well. If you come across the channel, please don't leave without subscribing and hitting the likes, as we are building a strong community here at Steel Curtain Productions. All right. This is one of our first off-season videos that we thought it was time after the Super Bowl, and I want to congratulate the Philadelphia Eagles for winning the Super Bowl. Um, when my Steelers aren't there, they're kind of one of the teams I can go for, and I kind of hoped to see them beat the Chiefs. I didn't think they were going to, but it was a pleasant surprise. So congratulations to the Eagles. Now let's get to our Steelers. This video's I had to address uh, there's the monkey, the elephant in the room, in the sense of we've heard the nonsense. There's so many rumors that you're getting on so many multiple um, Steeler podcasts, and this is just getting a little carried away. I'm not one for rumor land, and I don't thrive off it here. We take pride on waiting till the chips fall where they will. And to be honest, again, that's what we focus on. I get so tired when I see, because I see it. I see it in a lot of the podcasts that are on air, that people just love to jump all over Rumorville. And for me, it's, do you really need that to thrive? Do you really need to just make up a bunch of BS? Okay, why don't you wait till the organization makes its decision on what they're going to do? Now, we've heard multiple rumors, so many rumors. Now let's talk about a few of them. First, you got the Tomlin rumor. You got people who have their making their quick opinions. Should Tomlin be here? And it sounds like the Steelers are invested in him. I can understand why Mr. Rooney is invested in Mike Tomlin. Um, 18 years, and hey, he got him to the playoffs, right? I know we haven't had success in the playoffs for quite some, but about 6 years now. And yeah, it's concerning. However, what are the alternatives? Are you, as Steeler fans, thinking about the alternatives? It can get worse. Do you remember we went through a dark period after Chuck Knowles, um, where it took us quite some time, and thank God Coach Cower got us back on the map. But we went through some years, some um, drought years, and I don't know. Do you really want that? Because you got to be, if you look at professional sports, you have to be so precise and on the money in your decision making, and that's usually what makes good organizations. I don't know if this group of Steelers fans can handle that. Remember what you're wishing for. Be very careful what you wish for. Now, I get Mike Tomlin's been here 18 years. There's no doubt, no doubt. There's not many years of that left, but I wouldn't wish it away yet. And I'd be very careful at how you're going to address it, because Mike is a winning coach. You have to understand that. Now, have there been valid points? Yes, there are valid points that maybe he has lost. Uh, with so much time, maybe the message is no longer gotten by the players. That is a possibility. We've had some problems since, ever since the era of Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. That horrific mess. We've been out in limbo. It's been hard to reproduce a winning product again. However, there, I don't think, here's the next thing. So for me, I'm quite content with going forward with Mike Tomlin. Do I think there are adjustments to be made? Yes. Will we have to cross that bridge in the near future? Most likely, because 18 years is a long time. However, I don't think you force that move. I think you wait till Mike's not, thinks it's time. and Mr. Rooney. Next, there's a lot of things, and they did get rid of a big offensive lineman, that being their first move. Anyway, that was about the only thing I've seen that's happened, which we know that we need still have some big things to do with that line. It still needs some work. It was an improvement, but it needs more work. That's to be expected. So I don't think that job is over with. Now we get into the big thing, quarterback. You got so many people thinking, "Oh, we should." No, there's nobody in the draft unless we fluke late in a draft and you find a Tom Brady. Good luck with that one. That's a hard one to pull off. But in the draft, by stats and stuff, there's really no quarterback that in the first round that is at that position of thought of being elite. The Pittsburgh Steelers need an elite quarterback. No doubt about it. But this is not the draft year for it. So we better get realistic. Now, I think Russell Wilson and Fields were a good choice. Yes, I do. And knowing what's out there, we've heard the darn rumors of Aaron Rodgers. I don't want any part of that nonsense. I'm not buying it. And Aaron is problematic in my view. Um, we've heard, something about the Chargers quarterback. I highly doubt there's any truth to that. We've heard the Trevor Lawrence rumor. I'd love that to be true, like that to be a direction, because I think he'd be a phenomenal quarterback to go with. However, I don't buy that it is the case. I would love it. I don't think it's the case unless you're going to get a guy like a Trevor Lawrence, though. You don't want somebody who's had his years behind him like Aaron Rodgers. Those days are gone. And there are issues. Watson, I wonder if he's available in Cleveland, but he's problematic. So where do we sit? Truthfully, I think we sit still because there's nobody in the draft. And if I'm Mr. Rooney and Quan, I'm thinking, you know what? I have no problems going forward with Russell Wilson and Fields again if they can pull off getting them re-signed. Now we have heard a lot of rumor that they may be moving on, both of them. We've heard it from indications on both ends. So who knows? Again, this is what the problem is with rumors. But if I were the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think that is sit tight, hold pat, and go forward with these two guys until there is a draft that there's deeper prospects in the quarterback um, realm of things. Because right now it's not the year. Okay, let's sit with the facts. What do the Pittsburgh Steelers really need right now? Again, last offseason, and we seen it, before the trade deadline. There were lots and tons of rumors, and Metcalf had happened to be one of them, and Ayuk. I don't mind either one of those rumors. However, Metcalf, Ayuk, I believe, got re-signed. Now, if I'm Steelers, you need a guy. I'd love to have Metcalf because I don't care what we say. We can't get around it. What hurt us this year was the lack of offensive weapons. Sorry, we keep placing Pickens in the number one role. Yes, he's fabulous. I still think he's a number two receiver, and that's not a knock against him because he's much better than Johnson, but he is not a number one, and we haven't addressed it. I don't think we can get away with not addressing it. If we want to move past the wild card game and get at least a win in the playoffs, you got to address things. You can't just keep ignoring it. We need a number one wide receiver. So, with that being said, uh, I'm all over getting that caliber of a number one wide receiver. So, that would be my route, and I think the Steelers got to stop ignoring it. We need more weapons. That's why we got out weaponized by the Ravens. They had the passing game and plenty of weapons to throw to. They had the quarterback who was mobile enough of a threat, and you had the best running back on the Ravens. That's who I'm talking about right now. And to go up against Derrick Henry and Jackson and those type of guys, you're going to need to match that. We didn't match it. whatsoever. We've seen us go into that cycle where things started falling apart when we ran into Eagles. At least we got to see that the Eagles ended up being the Super Bowl champs. So that's kind of like that's where our trouble began. But evidently they were the best in the league. But again, we have to, as an organization, get that number one wide receiver because that's where we're lacking. Our running back situation will be next. So for me, I go straight ahead with Russell Wilson and Fields, or one or the other, or both. I think for the time being, I don't think we have the draft just not possessing that type of quarterback, and you're not going to get a quarterback from another team that's elite like the Trevor Lawrences. If you do have a shot at Trevor Lawrence, go for it. I cannot see how Jacksonville would give Trevor Lawrence up. He would be the perfect answer. I think he would be totally the perfect answer for the Steelers, but I don't think it's realistic, and I can't see Jacksonville doing that. So I go for me again. Number one, you go with Wilson Fields because there's nobody viable that can carry an organization and make that difference is available. You're not going to have it happen. So next, you got to look at again, we have addressed the wide receiver. Someone like Metcalf, he's the perfect answer. We should have hit it then. We have to hit it this year. So that's your number two. Now we go to the running backs. We haven't signed Harris. Are we going to let this guy walk? This was a first round draft pick. I know his numbers have been like 3.9 average. I don't think that he's the problem. For me, I sign him because if you look at the NFL, he's pretty much next to Henry, and I know Henry's a freak of nature, but to me, he gives you that muscle. And with him and Warren, I think they're a perfect 1-2 punch. So for me, I don't know what the big issue is. Let's hope he'll sign in Pittsburgh, but I sign Harris. That's just my thought because still gives you a reputable running game. The, there are things we need to fix. Our defense needs a lot of work, believe it or not. It's getting it's taking blows. Our secondary is not perfect. Our linebackers need a lot of work. I think that's the hugest area for us. Um, and then, of course, our offensive line still needs some work. So for me, those are the areas to target. Is it now the next thing we've seen stories on? Do you blow this up and rebuild? Come on, guys. This team was solid enough to get into the playoffs. So I don't think we're ready to blow this thing up because, like I say, are you ready for that dark period of time when you do a rebuild takes a long time and getting the right coach, getting the right mix. That's not the simplest thing to do in today's NFL. We have a half decent roster that definitely needs work. And I think we're well enough that we just need adjustments to it. Do we need that eventual quarterback star court? Yes, we do. But if we go forward with Russell and Fields, it's enough for the time being because there's nothing out there. Unless there's any truth to this Trevor Lawrence thing, which I highly doubt it. So with that being said, you've seen what I've just mentioned, and then of course, you've let somebody go off the offensive line. You go to strengthening that offensive line. They're going to have to figure out what the biggest part of the puzzle is in the draft for them. I think your defense needs a ton of work. I don't think we have the defense that we had one time. I think it's just continued to deteriorate, and I think it needs to be addressed. You can't keep on relying on solely on Watt and Cameron Hayward. It's time to you're going to have to get some right players in the mix. So you're going to have to start looking at avenues to strengthen that decor. So with that being said, that's where I say you address improving that defense. Do you need to bring someone in to help change this message that the players seem to be not getting any more with Tomlin? And maybe that's a 2-year thing from now, but let Tomlin make his choice at the time because it's hard to find a good coach. So I think there's ways we can get around and adjust that, but we need to stop avoiding the situations of a number one wide receiver. We can address the quarterback thing when it's available. If a Trevor Lawrence is available, okay, I get it, but I doubt that. And there's nothing in the draft, so you go with what you have right now. They're solid enough to go with. We just need more weapons like that wide receiver, number one wide receiver, and keep the running game you got, because then you just got to fix that line a bit better. It's coming. We've had better numbers, um, and then between fixing the line and the defense, you're just going to have to split the work of bringing in the right people, draft or free agency, and you're going to have to be serious about it and do your homework. That's going to be right on con, and Mr. Rooney's going to have to be willing to fork out a few bucks for this. So that being said, that's where we're going to end it. We just had felt like we had to address this. I don't think you blow this thing up. I think you're asking for trouble to blow this up and do a rebuild. This team is not that far gone. So be careful what you wish for. So we will be back as soon as we see something happen. We're waiting for it. We keep waiting to see what's going to transpire. But who knows? Maybe it's the combine and the draft before anything happens. I don't know. We shall see, but thank you for joining me. That's the end of it. And we just wanted to address some of these foolish, foolish rumors. And I would suggest to all Steelers fans, let's try to stay away from rumorland, and let's wait till the chips fall where they fall, and let the people in place bring out the actual facts as it comes forward. So thank you for joining me here at Steel Curtain Productions, where you've seen it. And yes, I might take a lot of flack for this episode. Oh, well, it was time that the rumors got to stop. People got to stop feeding off clickbait and just jumping on, making any story up that they want to. Let's wait till the Steelers decide what they're doing. The proper people, Khan, Tomlin, and Mr. Rooney. So thank you for joining me. Please hit the likes, subscribe, and share. God bless you. We'll catch you in the next episode. Go Steelers, go.